Welcome to the Explainer. Now, if you follow the tech world, you already know that healthcare AI is delivering some of the most jaw-dropping, futuristic demos on Earth right now. But step into an actual real-world hospital, and you'll find one of the slowest adoption rates of literally any industry. We're talking about a massive gap between what's technologically possible in a lab and what's actually happening on the ground. And that gap? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So picture this. In a controlled lab environment, a diagnostic AI model can routinely outperform your average clinician. Honestly, the data you see in these research papers is just absolutely incredible. Yet trying to bring that exact same groundbreaking tech to a real patient sitting in an exam room, that can take years. We are looking at a massive friction point between theoretical research and clinical reality.
Now, you might be tempted to just blame this all on bureaucratic red tape, but that kind of ignores a really fundamental reality of medicine, which is that errors carry literal life-or-death consequences. Think about it. When a standard tech company pushes out a buggy software update, maybe an app crashes and you get slightly annoyed. But when a clinical AI makes a mistake, the stakes are fatal. So extreme caution here isn't just understandable, it's absolutely necessary.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, for the health tech leaders and developers trying to navigate this space, there are three massive structural hurdles uniquely slowing down adoption today. Let's break these down so we can see exactly what the medical tech industry is really up against.
Number one is regulatory approval. Clinical AI just isn't treated like your average software-as-a-service product. You absolutely cannot just move fast and break things and push a patch later. If an algorithm is going to be making medical decisions about a person's health, regulators demand the exact same exhaustive evidence trail, rigorous clinical trials, and proven safety data as if you were rolling out a brand new pharmaceutical drug.
Number two brings us into the incredibly murky waters of legal liability. Say an AI recommendation actually leads to a bad outcome. Who is at fault? Is it the developer who wrote the code? Is it the hospital system that bought the software? Or maybe it's the clinician who actually followed the advice. Because we lack clear legal fault lines right now, medical institutions are, quite rightfully, terrified of taking on that immense unknown risk.
And the third hurdle is clinical workflow integration. You know, even if you have a perfectly accurate AI, it still has to fit completely invisibly into clinical routines that have been entrenched for decades. If your groundbreaking algorithm requires a busy doctor to spend 5 extra minutes clicking through some clumsy 90s-style drop-down menu for every single patient, it is dead on arrival. It just won't get used, no matter how brilliant the code is under the hood.
Okay, so given all of that, the life-or-death stakes, the heavy regulations, where is real adoption actually happening in hospitals right now? Because it definitely is happening. It's just finding the path of least resistance. So let's look at a practical, actionable blueprint of where medical AI is succeeding today.
If you look at the current landscape, success is deeply divided by friction. High-friction areas, like direct clinical decision-making, are pretty much stalled out. That's exactly where all those intense regulatory and liability hurdles live. But AI is absolutely thriving in low-friction areas, specifically administrative and operational tasks, where it can just completely sidestep those massive regulatory roadblocks.
Take documentation, for example. Doctors spend an enormous chunk of their day just charting clinical notes. It's crazy, but some studies actually show physicians spend twice as much time on electronic health records as they do looking at patients. It completely kills face-to-face time, and it's a huge driver of burnout. But AI is stepping in right now to automatically summarize visits. It's highly effective, it saves hours of tedious time, and best of all, it operates safely outside the regulatory crosshairs because it isn't actually making medical diagnoses. Then you've got imaging support. In radiology, the AI isn't diagnosing patients all on its own. Instead, it acts more like a tireless second set of eyes. It's flagging a suspicious shadow on an X-ray or an MRI and prompting the human expert to take a closer look. It's augmenting human intelligence rather than trying to replace the expert outright. It's basically the ultimate co-pilot.
And of course, we have to talk about operational AI. Hospitals are basically logistical labyrinths, right? Well, behind the scenes, AI is already at work predicting staffing needs for different shifts, optimizing patient scheduling, and managing massive medical supply chains. This delivers an immense, measurable return on investment, with virtually none of the regulatory friction you get in direct patient care. It is a brilliant, super safe place for AI to show immediate value.
So, what is the golden rule for healthcare tech right now? It's simply this. Adoption succeeds fastest where AI supports a human decision maker rather than trying to replace clinical judgment. Whether it's drafting those tedious clinical notes or just highlighting a shadow on an X-ray, AI survives and thrives in this space by being the ultimate assistant, not the ultimate authority.
So, for any health tech leaders watching, the ultimate strategic lesson here is sequencing. You don't start with the hardest challenge. Instead, you implement administrative and operational AI first to get those early, low-friction wins on the board. Then, you use those wins to build internal governance and, crucially, to earn the doctor's trust. Only then, once you've really built up that organizational muscle, do you expand into the high-stakes world of clinical decision support.
So we've seen how heavily AI is constrained by the very real, life-or-death realities of medicine. But that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. What happens to this exact same technology when you completely remove those guardrails? What happens when we unleash these incredibly powerful models for hyper-personalization at scale in an industry like retail or e-commerce? The speed of disruption when all that red tape just vanishes is absolutely staggering. It's an incredible concept, and it's exactly what we'll be exploring next time. Keep learning, and thanks so much for joining this explainer.